Welcome to the Movie Summary channel. If you like the featured video, please watch it in the theaters near you, or buy or rent the original movie from the links provided in the description. Like and share the video as it will help us out, and comment on what movies you like to be featured next. Movie Summary does not condone piracy and follows and complies with the fair use law. Now, let's watch the featured video. Simply sit tight, relax, and enjoy the video. Be aware that there is heavy spoilers ahead.
Don't let anything distract you from it. I'm here because we need your help.
Very busy today, no time to help.
The film opens with the Wang family happily singing karaoke in a mirror until they disappear. Cut ahead to the present day inside the hectic home of the Wang family. Evelyn and her husband Waymond are putting together documents for an audit, preparing a big birthday party for Evelyn's formerly estranged father Gong Gong, who temporarily disowned Evelyn for marrying Waymond and moving to the US and running a struggling laundromat they own. Evelyn is too busy to talk to Waymond, who has secretly drafted up divorce papers and angrily rips googly eyes off wherever she finds them stuck to places in the laundromat put there by her family is a joke that Evelyn doesn't appreciate. Their rebellious daughter Joy arrives with her girlfriend Becky. Evelyn and Joy have a strained relationship, and they argue about Joy's tattoos and whether she should come out to Gong Gong as he is elderly and curmudgeonly. Joy thinks her mom is using Gong Gong as an excuse, and that Evelyn herself is really uncomfortable with her daughter's sexuality. Gong Gong walks into the room where Evelyn introduces Becky as Joy's very good friend. Gong Gong critiques Joy for her lack of Chinese language skills, and Evelyn tells Joy she's getting too fat. Becky says Evelyn's critiques are her way of expressing love. Everyone is too busy to notice Waymond seemingly being possessed and performing martial arts for a brief few minutes. Waymond, Evelyn, and Gong Gong go to the IRS offices the next day to meet with their auditor. While in the elevator on the way to the appointment, Waymond is again possessed. He explains that he is a Waymond from another universe, or let's call him as Old Waymond, who has inhabited her husband on this earth, and says the multiverse is in danger. He writes a note to her with instructions to read when out of the elevator, before leaving Waymond's body.
Wow, 这个电梯好快哦。
Title card, Part 1, Everything. The family meets with their auditor, a woman named Derder. Derder says that the family's actions could be construed as fraud. As the meeting continues, Evelyn reads the note written by Alt Waymond. It tells her to switch her shoes, put in an earpiece, and then imagine teleporting to a janitor's closet. She does so and ends up in another one of her bodies in another universe, along with the Alt Waymond. The connection is tenuous as Evelyn keeps cutting between her conversation with Derder, who is threatening to repossess their laundromat, and Alt Waymond. Alt Waymond explains he's from a universe called the Alphaverse. There, they were able to master multiversal teleportation using a mapping program that tracks branch universes. In addition to teleporting into the body of an alt-universe version of themselves, they can also learn the skills and knowledge of any alt-universe person they inhabit. In order to teleport, the traveler must do something out of the ordinary, thus why Evelyn had to switch her shoes to harmonize themselves with an alt-universe bodies. He says an evil multidimensional traveler named Jabu Tupaki intends to bring chaos to the multiverse, and that Evelyn is the only one with enough innate goodness to stop Jabu. He notes that Jabu has been going through the multiverse killing versions of Evelyn, but thinks this Evelyn is the chosen one. At that moment, an alternate version of Derder appears and murders the bodies Ald Wayman and Evelyn are inhabiting, sending them both back to their original bodies. Evelyn awakens to Derder agreeing to give them until that night to provide more documentation for their audit.
Last chance.
Evelyn, still shocked by her experience in the alternate realm, punches Derder.
She was coming after us.
And she also finds the divorce papers Wayman had drawn up. Derder calls security, forcing Ald Wayman to inhabit Wayman's body and beat them up with his martial arts skills.
Sir. Okay, whatever you're thinking about doing, don't do it.
Come with me and live up to your ultimate potential.
This activity draws Jabu's notice.
Than a statistical ist.
It's revealed that Jabu is none other than Joy from the Alphaverse. Ald Wayman explains that in the Alphaverse, Evelyn pushed Joy too far in exploring the multiverse to the point where she is able to travel the multiverse at will, experience all realities simultaneously, and alter reality. The criticism and multiversal awareness drove Joy mad, leaving her with the belief that nothing is important given the infinite possibilities out there and the brevity of life. She developed a weapon that Ald Wayman believes will destroy the universe. He hopes Evelyn can stop this. Ald Derder inhabits Derder's body.
Understand why?
With sumo wrestler abilities and attacks. Ald Wayman instructs Evelyn how to tap into a universe where she is a martial arts master by declaring her genuine love for Derder. Evelyn is unable to do this, so Ald Wayman abandons her, thinking he made a mistake, that she was the chosen one. However,
I love you.
Evelyn is eventually able to travel and tap into her martial arts alternate skills. With her fighting prowess, Evelyn defeats Ald Derder. But is then arrested along with Wayman. However, the police are attacked by Jabu, now inhabiting Joy and killed in gruesomely cartoonish ways, i.e., exploding into confetti. A terrified Evelyn tries to tap into a power to fight Jabu, but in her panic accesses the skills from a world where everyone there evolved to have hot dog fingers.
How many times I see it, I'm so...
They are only saved when Jabu takes a special interest in this Evelyn,
Take a peek.
sharing some of her experiences with her and showing Evelyn a glimpse of her endgame.
The truth.
Suddenly, Alpha versus Gong Gong. In Gong Gong's body ambushes Jabu. Jabu decides to journey to the Alphaverse to confront them there. Ald Wayman returns to Wayman's body, realizing he was right about Evelyn, and argues with Ald Gong Gong about what they should do. Ald Gong Gong wants to have Joy killed while Jabu is distracted because that will block Jabu's ability to enter this universe, and he's done this in other universes. Ald Wayman opposes this, believing Evelyn can save everyone. Ultimately, Evelyn sides with Ald Wayman, and Ald Gong Gong calls in people from the Alphaverse to kill the trio,
Given us no choice. We must.
believing they have all been infected by Jabu, and worried that if Evelyn joins Jabu, Jabu will surely succeed. In order to defeat them, Evelyn ends up drawing experiences from her doubles in various universes where she's a martial artist, singer, hibachi grill cook, also revealed to be a universe where one of her co-workers has a raccoon called Rackcool under his chef's hat to help him cook in a parody of Ratatouille, a maid, and sign spinner. Combining all these abilities allows her to be a formidable fighter. She defeats all Gong Gong's minions,
Is he dead?
including in an excellent fight involving butt plugs. Small role for Jenny Slate as one of the minions. Meanwhile, Jabu kills Alt Waymond in his body. Jabu returns and Evelyn prepares to fight her. But the strain of combining too many alternate skills at once and spending too much time in bodies of other Evelyns causes Evelyn to die from the stress.
I'll see you again.
Jabu seems disappointed and Waymond is devastated. Part 2, Everywhere. Evelyn's consciousness travels across the multiverse, experiencing the various lives she took skills and knowledge from, including in the hot dog finger universe. She is in a romantic relationship with Dare and everyone does things with their feet. We also learn in a universe where Evelyn decides not to get involved and just goes home to do her taxes that Waymond doesn't really want a divorce, but wanted to do something to force Evelyn to discuss their growing apart. Eventually, Evelyn is able to channel her spirit back into her dead body and resurrect herself. She runs back to her home where she confronts Joy and forces Jabu to emerge. Evelyn tries to fight Jabu, but Jabu uses her immense powers to overwhelm Evelyn, transporting her to worlds where they are in prison, where they are penalized, and even where they are animated. Jabu then brings Evelyn to her base. There, she reveals her devices and everything bagel, i.e., a bagel-shaped object upon which Joy has affixed everything in the universe. By looking into it, the viewer can experience all reality at once. She forces Evelyn to look, and Evelyn begins to believe that nothing in life matters as humans are so insignificant. The pair are only able to take solace in a universe where life never emerged, and they are sentient boulders. After coming to agree with Jabu that there is no purpose to life, Evelyn begins destroying her relationships in the various universes she is connected to, even calling animal control on Rakakul. In her home universe, she signs Waymond's divorce papers, refuses to turn in her taxes, causing Dare to come with the police to possess the laundromat, and smashes the windows of the laundromat. Jabu explains that by going through the center of the bagel, it will end her existence on all planes, ending the pain she feels due to the pointlessness of the multiverse. She asks Evelyn to come with her, and Evelyn agrees. However, before she does so, Evelyn hears Waymond's voice and teleports to the universe where she is a martial artist and she and Waymond didn't marry. Waymond explains that he believes Evelyn didn't marry him because she misconstrued his generosity as weakness. Instead, however, he says that being a loving person is how he finds meaning in the universe. This Waymond notes that he'd rather have lived a good life with Evelyn running a laundromat than the successful life alone that he lived. Touched by his words, Evelyn begins to see the good moments in each of her multiversal lives. This is capped by returning to her universe, where she watches Waymond talk Dare into reversing her decision to seize their laundromat using kindness. She realizes that he was right. Strength and meaning comes from true love. Despite Jabu's efforts to have Evelyn go through the bagel with her, Evelyn refuses. An irate Jabu teleports the bagel and goons from her home base to Evelyn's primary universe, where it begins destroying everything.
Oh, I don't want to hurt you.
Lovable bitches like us.
Waymond gets a leader to forego violence and googly eye to herself as a symbol of her promise. all gone, and the Alphaverse forces show up to kill Jabu. Using her powers, Evelyn reads the deepest regrets of the combatants and fixes them, causing each opposing soldier to stop their attack.
Nice and straight.
Thank you.
She also fixes the problem she caused with her other selves throughout the multiverse, i.e., making up with Hot Dog Finger Darer, saving Rakakul from animal control. She confronts her father's abandonment, saying that in trying not to be like him, she drove away her own daughter.
我唔會好似你咁對個女。同緊要。
Her family now united, they all grab onto Jabu to stop her from going through the bagel. Simultaneously, Evelyn in her tax-doing universe apologizes to her daughter. Joy at first rejects her mother's attempts at atonement. Joy declares that life is too painful and humans are too small in the scheme of things to matter, so why should they try to fix their relationship? Evelyn counters that while all of that is true, it is these small moments of time that matter the most and that no single moment is more important than the fleeting ones they get to spend together. Evelyn and Joy embrace while Jabu is pulled out of the bagel hole and the bagel is deactivated. Jabu is also pacified due to Joy's resolution with her mom.
Do you still want to do your part?
Title card, Part 3 all at once. Jumping ahead, the one family is dropped off at the IRS building by Becky, who's now been fully accepted, including by Evelyn and Gong. As they walk inside, Evelyn shares a loving kiss with Wayman, showing that their marriage is now strong. They arrive at Deirdre's office with their receipts properly ordered and to Deirdre's praise for doing much better. The film closes as we see that Evelyn is still able to experience the entirety of the multiverse. All at once, then the movie ends. Thank you for watching our featured video here in Movie Summary. I hope you have enjoyed watching our videos. Please like and share this video on your social media and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Comment down below on what movies you like to be featured next and click the notification bell so that you will be notified every time we post new videos. Bye for now and see you in the next upload of our next videos.
Don't let anything distract you from it. I'm here because we need you now.
Very busy today. No time to help